Hello, my name is Dietmar Dörschlag, and I'm a certified business consultant focusing on the Atlassian ecosystem. And I work for Valiantis, and we are the largest global platinum solution partner focused on the Atlassian ecosystem. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about the importance of Atlassian administration roles. This video is part of a multi-part video series where we dive into the very important topic of Atlassian administration. You will find other videos where we talk about the other administration roles. This video today focuses specifically on Confluence admin, the role of Confluence product admins. Now, as we pointed out in a previous video, Atlassian products hardly ever stand on their own. For example, Confluence is very often used in conjunction with Jira Service Management and or Jira software, Jira Core. Now, the advantage of that concurrent use of Confluence with other Atlassian products is, of course, the tight integration between those products. For example, JSM teams use Confluence to manage knowledge articles, KVAs. Jira teams use Confluence to retain anything related to software development, meeting minutes. Confluence at its core is really a system to create shared knowledge. Now, in the previous video, we spoke about the role of org admins. Org admins are the most powerful role in the Atlassian ecosystem. Org admins are responsible to onboard users, to manage users at the org level, to maintain groups. Groups are, of course, used to map mapped to products. The Confluence product is accessed by users via the concept of groups. Org admins focus on billing, on security, and also on licensing and some site level settings. All of this needs to be in place by the org admin. But the focus on this video is really the role of product admins and specifically the role of the Confluence product admin. So the Confluence product admin, of course, works in concert in close collaboration with the org admin and also with the Jira admin, if you have Jira or Jira Service Management licensed on your organization, on your instance. And the Confluence product admin also works very closely with space admins. Now, let's dive in on what a Confluence product administrator specifically does. Now, I am accessing a site that I spun up. So I am now accessing this site in the role of a org admin. By virtue of being an org admin, I also was granted the Confluence product admin or Confluence administrator role. But of course, in the real world, you would have individuals who are strictly dedicated to the administration of Confluence if your site is large enough. So it really depends on how large your Confluence investment is, whether or not you have dedicated Confluence administrators. I'm just logged into this instance as an org admin, and by virtue of being the org admin in that instance, I can demonstrate anything that relates to the administration of Confluence. So the first thing we need to emphasize here is that a Confluence product admin is charged with creating new spaces. So a Confluence admin creates a new space. I'm clicking on create a new space, and for example, I would be creating a space related to a software project, and I'm now being taken to a dialogue where I would be I would be setting up that new space. And I'm creating that space. So that is the role of the Confluence product admin. A Confluence space admin cannot create new spaces. You need to be in the role of a Confluence product admin. Now, when a Confluence product admin creates a Confluence space, they automatically have space admin privileges over that space. Now, that can be taken away. Not don't think that you would want to do that. Logically, a Confluence admin should have really admin access over all spaces, but you can manage the permission at the space level at a more granular level. But by default, a Confluence admin automatically becomes the space admin. Now, what an org admin can also do then is via the space settings, they can archive those spaces. So if I go back to my space directory, I look at all spaces, and let's just say I get into the into that test space that I created. I can go to space settings on the left navigation bar, and I can click anywhere on Manage Spaces. And here we can archive the space. Now, when a space is archived by either the Confluence admin or the Confluence space admin, the space is hidden from site navigation, and it's really a good practice for the Confluence admin or the Confluence space admins to archive spaces that are no longer needed. Let's say this is for a more transitionary initiative. You certainly want to archive your spaces so they essentially declutter your system. So the first important point that needs to be made is that it is the role of the Confluence admin to create Confluence spaces. Cannot be done by a space admin. Just like in Jira with Jira Service Management, the creation of a Jira JSM project is the responsibility of a Jira JSM admin and cannot be done by a project admin unless you allow through a global setting, the creation of a team-managed project, which then, if you allow that, um, can be undertaken by a non-Jira GSM admin. However, we actually do recommend to be very cautious with the use of team-managed projects. Now, moving on to Confluence global settings. This is very much the responsibility of the Confluence admin. So from the navigation on the top right, I'm clicking on Confluence and Administration. And there are a number of settings here that we need to point out. Now, working our way down here, the setup of users, groups, and billing is the responsibility of the org admin. Now, this is not undertaken by the Confluence product admin. This needs to be managed by the org admin. What the Confluence product admin does is they work through those various settings. Settings related to configuration, security, look and feel, data management, and also the enablement, the turning on of Atlassian Marketplace apps related to Confluence. So for sake of time, we cannot focus on every single element here, but let's just highlight a few. So starting with configuration, there's some general configuration settings that the Confluence admin has to handle. For example, they would give their Confluence instance a title. This could be Confluence for subsidiary 123, and they could post a administrator message that you want every Confluence user to see. There are certain channel configuration settings with respect to emailing. So for example, if you want to completely turn off email notifications for that Confluence product, that can be done by the Confluence Administrator. You turn on or you turn off push notifications. You can set as a Confluence admin only certain formatting with respect to time and date formats, long number formats. You can size limit attachments, connection timeout. So those are all general configuration settings that have to be set by the Confluence admin, cannot be set by the Confluence space admins. Moving down here to global templates and blueprints. Now, the difference between a blueprint are really templates that Atlassian provides, which the Confluence admin can turn on or turn off. So if the Confluence admin looks for the global template or blueprint library rather, they can basically disable the use of those templates. Atlassian provided templates are called blueprints, which would then mean that none of those blueprints would be available for space administrators to use in their respective spaces. Confluence admins can also create new global templates. When they create new global templates, those templates, once enabled, can then be starred to be available in any space at that Confluence instance. So this is the role of a Confluence product administrator. And those global templates cannot be created by a space admin. A space admin can only create space level templates that are then only restricted to users who have access to a particular space. A few other settings to point out. There are settings with respect to PDF export language. So yes, spaces can be exported. In that global setting, the Confluence admin would set up export language settings, which has to do with translations and that kind of thing. Under security, there are global permissions that the Confluence admin would set. So for example, a Confluence admin can, at the global level, turn off the ability, again, on a group by group level, to create personal spaces. So if you, for a certain governance reason, do not allow the creation of personal spaces, the Confluence product admin can disable the creation of personal spaces. Also, you can, at a group by group level, disable the creation of spaces. So a Confluence admin can disable what groups can create spaces. There are certain global space permission settings. So I'm on the left-hand navigation, the space permissions. So here under space permissions, a Confluence product admin can control certain permissions at the global level that would then be inherited in each space. Look and feel, there are color schemes, space themes, PDF export settings, header and footer, default space logos. Those are all, shall I say, global look and feel configuration options that the Confluence administrator sets, which will then be applicable to, at the global level, to all spaces. And finally, there are settings with respect to data management, macro usage, space reports, backup manager, importing and exporting of spaces, application settings, and then finally, settings with respect to Atlassian Marketplace. Yes, add-on marketplace apps cannot be installed by a Confluence Space Administrator. This is obviously reserved to a Confluence product admin or an org admin, or but cannot be done by space admins because it has licensing and billing monetary implications. So in summary, the Confluence product admin is a very important role that works in close collaboration with the org admin and the space admins in administering the Atlassian your investment in the Atlassian Confluence product. They um, they do work hand in hand with org admins. A product admin has to be granted the Confluence product admin role by an org admin. And of course, they work very closely with space administrators so that anyone that has access to a particular Confluence space, a user, has a really good experience. Thank you very much for having joined me today. I hope you found this video informative. There are other videos in this series where we discuss the various administrator roles in the Atlassian ecosystem. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me at dietmar.dörschlag@valiantis.com. And in closing, I always encourage you to check out our YouTube channel where we post always up-to-date videos about anything that we find is relevant and hopefully of value to you as you work in the Atlassian ecosystem. Thank you so much and have a great day.